In 2002, 6 American teenagers released one of the most shocking and degrading videos ever made. Set in the skid rows of Las Vegas and San Diego, the film featured homeless people and addicts fighting each other and performing extreme stunts, acts they were paid to perform by those who were filming them. It scandalized America, but despite a horrified public reaction, the video's sales were phenomenal. The film and its copycat followers have unleashed a wave of lawsuits, soul-searching, and a new and deeply disturbing type of reality TV. And it has changed the lives of everyone involved. This is the story of Bumfights.
These Bumfights are a horrible example of humanity at its worst.
You're seeing people profiteering off the most vulnerable segments of the population.
This is the bottom of the barrel.
He loves that tattoo. You know, like that guy shows everybody that tattoo.
Do not do it. Don't make the mistake I made.
America's homeless are drawn to its west coast by the climate and overt prosperity. The street people are no different from any of those of any modern society. But in cities like Las Vegas, the all-pervading image of wealth pushes the underclass even further to the margins.
Well, everything here doesn't glitter, that's for sure. Las Vegas is a community, it is people, and just like any other city, when you get outside the glitz and the glamour, you have to deal with the same social issues. Las Vegas is no different than any city in that respect.
What's your granddaughter?
This one.
Oh my God.
Get by the light over there, you can see it.
Linda Lira Randall has worked with Las Vegas's homeless, known in American slang as bums, for 19 years.
I'm proud of you, Grandma.
We got old out here. Anytime somebody's in need, that makes them vulnerable. And these are people who are not only financially in need, but are broken in spirit. If you go up there and you're offering them cash money or alcohol or any of the things that that person's been doing without, you have to do that with a purpose and a motivation that is not harmful to them.
In 2001, she began to hear stories of homeless people being coaxed into performing in a new film. Enticed by beer, food, and sometimes money, homeless people were being asked to perform outrageous acts for the camera.
To see somebody go out there and actually incite someone to beat themselves up or pull their teeth out, or I mean, it goes beyond comprehension of any, you know, I couldn't understand it.
Skateboarder Ryan McPherson started making Bumfights with friends after he was suspended from school for showing underground videos. The teenager is from a comfortable, middle-class background in San Diego. He and his fellow filmmakers were surprised at the high sales and notoriety of Bumfights.
Bumfights was something that we had set out to make money with. I wouldn't have minded it making just a little bit of money, you know what I mean? Like enough for us to make another one and another one, like nothing ridiculous. But I mean, whatever, like it did what it did and you can't stop it from selling.
Get out my business, okay? Get out my business, man.
I mean, it's a disgusting video, you know, the footage inside of it, there's fighting, there's violence, and who wants to watch that? But it's also very truthful, you know?
You like that second time, man. You had my bitch up in there that night, remember?
you know, somebody, I guess it's not somebody has to do it, you know what I mean? But it's something that I'm interested in, and I'm very interested in showing these things to people and kind of opening their eyes, because it has opened a lot of people's eyes to what's really going on out there.
Oh, that's just absurd. There's a lot of more constructive ways to highlight a social problem than to go out and show the worst that you can. That's not highlighting anything. That is taking advantage of people.
Bumfights is an abhorrent video. From the opening titles, the casual viewer would assume it was just another teen skate punk film. There's no hint of the extreme material within. But from the first shots, it's clear this is something very different. Bumfights takes scenes of sickening street violence and sets it to hip, high-octane music, clearly aiming it at a teen audience. While the fighting filmed in American schoolyards and streets are shocking enough, Bumfights gets its name from its unique but horrifying selling point: extreme stunts and fights performed by homeless people, drunks, and addicts.
Dude, where did you get that pimp-ass hat?
Bumfights is reality TV gone too far. It's a dark and extreme version of shows that celebrate stunts and pain, a genre created by the MTV smash hit show Jackass.
The success of Jackass on MTV, which is one of the most popular shows among that young teen demographic for a number of years, especially males, and realized there was money to be made.
You know, we showed it to millions of kids out there in San Diego, and everyone had the same response. They were just shocked and couldn't believe it. They all thought it was better than the Jackass and the CKY stuff, and that was good. You know, that's exactly what we're going for.
Let's go take this thing on, dude.
Show them out.
What it is, it shows these homeless men performing various stunts, fighting, setting themselves on fire, defecating in the street, all for the amusement of these young filmmakers that put it together. I guess like most people, I was shocked that, first of all, that someone would be out filming this and provoking these people into these kinds of fights. And then secondly, that someone would try to profit off of it, I found very distasteful.
There's no exploitation there. It's just all good, friendly filming. It's not, in any way exploitation. I never saw it as that.
For people to go out and want to film somebody's anguish and enhance that anguish by plowing them with alcohol and money and, not even a decent amount of money is, I don't know, that person needs more help than most of the people that they're working with.
What do you have to say now? You got anything to say?
The two main protagonists of Bumfights were street drunks Rufus Hanna and Donnie Brennan. Ryan McPherson had befriended them over some years and finally tempted them in front of the camera.
You want me to let you go?
Not a day went by that I wouldn't stop by, talk to them, give them money, and, make sure they're okay. But we also continually talked about, maybe one day we're going to do something. And then one day we did. And one day we brought them license agreements. And one day they understood exactly what was going on. They actually met with an attorney down here and everything. They always knew what was happening.
Wall walking.
I kicked his fucking ass, and so what? I broke his fucking ankle. Big fucking deal. You know what?
These individuals ended up in the hospital several times, yet they would keep coming back to Ryan because Ryan gave them money. Both of them, under oath here, testified that when you've been drunk for 30 years, you'll do about anything for a drink, and Mr. McPherson knew that.
All right, what are you fellas up to tonight?
Well, we thought we'd just throw up a few burners.
By persuading disadvantaged people to become an extreme part of his own skate punk culture, and combining it with his own brand of mindless rock and roll violence, Ryan McPherson had produced a video nightmare. But even he could not have predicted the outrage that his film would unleash. And Bumfights' biggest stars would also become its biggest victims, as they were given the Bumfights brand for life.
That's all I got out of the whole damn thing.
Bumfights, a 50-minute film made by teenagers in San Diego and sold on the internet, has set new standards for exploitation and violence in American culture. Street people, addicts and alcoholics were encouraged to perform dangerous stunts and acts of violence on themselves and each other.
They'd get them drunk and then just offer them more booze, and that's pretty much all it took. When you're living the life that these homeless people are doing, where they're drunk all the time, that's the only thing they care about. I mean, they'll do anything for another drink.
Sergeant Dan Willis has been patrolling the streets of San Diego for the whole of his working life.
Disturbed is the best way I can describe it. I mean, we see people get hurt all the time and being taken advantage of and used and exploited. Nothing new as far as that goes, but I did know these guys for years, so that added a little extra to it.
Look, I got hit, right?
The two most prominent participants in some of Bumfight's most distressing scenes were two San Diego down-and-outs on Sergeant Willis's beat, Rufus Hanna and Donnie Brennan.
What? You want to get say now?
I've known both Donnie and Rufus for the 15 years I've been working here. Donnie, he was a Vietnam vet, did a tour in Vietnam, and he has been homeless and a chronic drunk for the last 30 years or so. Now his friend, his partner in the movies, Rufus Hanna.
All right, Ruf, what the hell's the current situation?
Current situation is this pussy here, right?
He'd also been a chronic drunk and homeless for the last 30, 35 years.
I know those guys since I was like 15. You know, I knew those guys from skateboarding, you know. Two homeless guys that would just sit around and crack me up when we'd skate. And I had my camera, and Donnie liked getting in front of the camera, and Rufus liked getting in front of the camera. And so we'd sit there and we'd film, we'd talk to them. Everyone in the film knew exactly what was going on.
They'd bring them beer and get them to drink before they'd go out, so they'd already be extremely drunk in the first place. And then with the offer of more booze, that's pretty much all it took. And they were at the state back then, they'd do anything for another drink.
Yeah!
As Ryan and his colleagues grew ever more confident that their drunken performers would do anything for a couple of dollars or beers, they began to push them to new extremes of degradation.
Her hair's gonna get a tattoo on it.
And this is the tattoo parlor right up here, Inker's Tattoo, where Donnie was showing you where he got his forehead tattooed. Both Rufus and Donnie talked about they thought that they were their friends, and then eventually ended up feeling like they were betrayed, but did see them as friends initially.
It was this sequence and these shocking images of Donnie and Rufus being permanently scarred with a tattooed Bumfights logo that dispelled any lingering doubts that this was just teenage hijinks.
Hey, Donnie. I try to check in on him as much as I can, and hey, give Donnie a couple bucks every once in a while so I can get something to eat. Appreciate you hanging out for us.
Brennan, one of the main victims of Bumfights, is still on the streets.
You okay?
But nearly 2 years after the video's release, Donnie realizes he's been scarred for life, simply for 4 teenagers' savage joke.
And they came up, they said, "You want to make some money?" And he asked Rufus if he wanted to get a tattoo. And Rufus said, "No, I'm a little wasted. I don't want to do it." And I went, "Donnie, how would you like to go get a tattoo on your forehead for the movie Bumfights?" I was so inebriated. So drunk, so inebriated. I just went, "Ain't nobody else got the balls? I'll do it." And he went, "Psst. I got $200 bill says you'll do it." I went, $200? I ain't got a penny in my pocket. $200 at that time, a lot of money. So, I went and I did it. And that's all I got out of the whole damn thing.
There's someone with a tattoo across their forehead. Now that to me is like being maimed for life.
Right.
So, I mean, how do you justify that?
It is like eye-opening as it is. It was very simple. Like, he wanted to get a tattoo on his forehead. Now, no one believes that, you know what I mean? But look again, did we go to jail? Did we get charged with a felony? No, because he was completely legal, you know? Like, the guy opted to get this tattooed on his forehead.
I mean, these guys are like, I can honestly say, these people are deviants. They're insane. They're...
The tattooist, Eric Blose, testified in court that in his opinion Donnie was sober, and that he asked him 3 times if he was sure he wanted to proceed with the forehead tattoo.
That's one of the first things people say when they see the videos, like, dude, is that real? Yeah, like, it's real, but, you know?
By the summer of 2002, and with their so-called stars freshly tattooed, Ryan and his friends had all but completed Bumfights. To round it all off, they took Rufus and Donnie on one final filming trip.
You ready to go to Las Vegas, you motherfucker?
Las Vegas, viva Las Vegas, baby!
You have to understand that they spent 15 years on the streets, Rufus and Donnie did, and we took them off the streets, put them in a 3-bedroom apartment in Las Vegas, filled the refrigerator with food, gave them clothes, you know, did everything, and I have footage somewhere of them just in their apartment, just like crying. They got a TV, they got a couch, and they're just like crying. They've never had this before.
They went down to Las Vegas, and I was with them when they were taking care of the homeless and all that kind of fucking bullshit. Man, all they were doing was looking for homeless people so they could make millions and millions and millions of dollars. What did I get out of it? Nothing.
You okay, Ruf? No, I'm not okay.
If the previous filming had been about violent and dangerous stunts, the Las Vegas shoot was all about humiliation, and not just Rufus and Donnie's.
They have the bum hunter, who is a parody of the crocodile hunter, who goes out taking stock of his prey, which in this case, instead of a crocodile or whatever wildlife, is a homeless individual.
Like, okay, it's, you know, it's out there, you know, it's the whole takeoff of Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter guy, and of course it's a parody, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty brutal.
Hey, you know, you guys do it. Hey, hold down there, mate. Slow down.
Was it staged, though?
No.
Oh, hold there, mate. Hold there, mate.
The people were walked up upon while they were sleeping, and then compensated afterwards, and that was the parody.
The whole idea of Bumfights is one of taking away an individual's worth, an individual's humanness, an individual's right to be human, and substituting it with something that is superficial and is laughable. And it just makes me angry to think that there are people all over the world who are buying this and who are showing it to their friends and just laughing about these poor guys.
Now to an outrageous new video critics say is reality TV gone way too far. It's called
The tipping point for Bumfights' notoriety came when it stopped being just a local news item and went nationwide. No less a broadcaster than Fox News picked up the story and ran a live multi-camera broadcast, making it one of the biggest news stories of the year.
Some say the ultimate in shock TV. It's Bumfights, Cause for Concern, Volume 1. But
the newscast centered around Ryan's new business partner, financial backer and marketing expert Ty Beeson. His cocky on-screen demeanor only helped fuel the outrage.
Turkey, we're sending packages to Tokyo. We're worldwide. Everyone wants a piece of Bumfights.
From what they have said, they would report making millions of dollars and selling thousands upon thousands of videos each week.
Why can't you answer how much money you're making on this?
As a new addition to the Bumfights team, Ty Beeson quickly stepped in as their frontman, and arrogantly he refused to discuss the profits made at the expense of the homeless.
But why can't you answer how much money you're making on this film?
Because I don't have my CFO with me right now.
When they were talking to the media, they made claims of selling over 300,000 copies at $20 a piece, so that would be $6 million that they made, and that was before it even went public, so who knows how many they sold after that.
It surprised me that Bumfights was actually viable. It saddened me that Bumfights was actually viable.
Ty, are you abusing the homeless with this film?
No, we have a mutually beneficial relationship with the homeless. We have changed a lot of their lives.
But Ryan McPherson had a nasty surprise in store. Ty Beeson had acquired the copyrights to their video, and ironically, they were left without ownership of their own film.
You must have some clue how much money you...
10 days from then, we were inside of a house getting cut out of the venture because we couldn't take it anymore. They weren't going to pay us our money. They were just completely destroying the relationship and the business. So we figured it wasn't worth it. Money was never a huge object to any of us, and so we said we'd better get out before this gets out of hand.
Ryan and his teenage friends sold the completed Bumfights to Ty Beeson for $1.5 million and returned to San Diego. They could only watch as Bumfights earned their former business partner an even bigger fortune. But their involvement in the story would not end there.
Basically, it's against the law in California to pay or offer anybody anything to fight.
Hey, you want $1? We got some money. We got a nickel, I think. Can you do some stuff for video?
I had to sort out what's going on and determine if it was actual criminal conduct, which I consulted with several of my supervisors, and we believed it was. So then we issue a criminal case. It started with Ryan McPherson.
I was extremely surprised to be arrested.
Once Ryan McPherson was arrested, the district attorney's office charged all four, formally with 6 felony counts. So they were fairly serious charges initially.
This local La Mesa cop who got a hair up his ass, wanted to make a name for himself, same deal with the DA, all just using us as a political platform.
We don't think that the filming of the violence is what was the illegal part. It's the soliciting or enticing other people to illegally fight, the conduct, whether it's filmed or not, which is illegal.
Can you help us out, please?
What you want me to do?
I don't know, like...
The government's theory of the case was that they were soliciting other individuals to assault one another, which just absolutely was untrue.
Well, it's not illegal whatsoever. I mean, if you mean defensible from a legal point of view, absolutely. They didn't violate any laws. All of the homeless people who were involved agreed to participate.
There's no question, at least in my mind, there's no question that this is a legal video. But that doesn't necessarily make it right.
Every day we went to trial and we get scolded by our attorneys for laughing. It was so, like, you'd sit there and at times you'd be like, oh shit, like...
There was one point where a woman was testifying how she was very distraught over seeing 2 of the homeless men fighting at Mr. McPherson's enticement. When she was crying in court, Mr. McPherson was giggling and laughing out loud.
Co-defendant Ryan McPherson by his side, 21-year-old Daniel...
The trial lasted a week. Ryan McPherson and his friends were acquitted on the felony charges, but found guilty of a misdemeanor charge, promoting an illegal prize fight. They were sentenced to 280 hours of community service, working with the homeless, and banned from associating with each other or street people for 3 years.
The community service we didn't really care about. We knocked that out quick. The 3 years probation with no association killed us.
I think his conduct is criminal, whether he realizes it or not. I also think that the court system here and the general public consensus is what he's done is criminal.
While the criminal case has been resolved, a civil case has been set in motion by lawyers acting on behalf of the Bumfights' 2 victims, Rufus and Donnie.
and they tell him, you know, you're gonna come here into San Diego, you're gonna be in this civil case, you're gonna sue Ryan and Indecline, and you're gonna make a lot of money. Okay, where are they now? Ask me where they are now. They're on the streets. They're both drunks again.
Donnie, since this, he's been out in the street ever since. So, I mean, that's what he's been doing for the last 30 years. He'll probably end up doing that for the rest of his life. Rufus, on the other hand, is cleaned up and has been in a rehab center for the last year and a half, ever since this case went forward. So that's the first time he's been sober for the last 30-some years.
I feel like I've been used.
These horrific images are not staged. The film Bumfights shocked America with its terrible mix of street people performing dangerous stunts, vicious teen brawls, and seedy street life. Rufus Hanna, one of the most exploited characters in Bumfights, has undergone a remarkable transformation because of his experiences. Sober for the first time in 35 years, he can now see Bumfights clearly for what it really is.
I got hurt a lot, and I look back at it, and I can't believe I walked away from it. The hurt that I went through, and then to come to find out that they made money off of that, hurting other people, that came to my mind, and it's just it's not right. We were being used for their personal gain.
What? What? You want to get say now? What do you have to say now? You got anything to say?
The last time I saw Donnie, he was still drinking, still on the street, still homeless. He didn't look good. And that hurts me. I'm concerned about Donnie. I care about Donnie. They gave us money to buy alcohol with. Ryan would always come around when seemingly he knew that we needed something to drink. And he would come around. He would tell me, here's some money, go get your drink off. We'll be back later.
It was all his idea, you know. He was just a gung-ho, like, homeless stuntman that was just, like, always wanting to take on stuff. And if you look at the video, he's always pumped up.
Had I not been drinking, that would have never happened.
But yeah, I mean, if he's intoxicated and I film something of him, he can come back and get a cease and desist, but they never do, you know, so that's pretty much the situation.
I think Mr. McPherson has just gotten some words planted in his head by his lawyer, and once again doesn't want to be held accountable for cruel treatment of other human beings.
Ryan was just a young, smart-ass kid. He was pushy, liked to have his way.
The homeless people, Donnie and Rufus, they'd get paid a couple beers and be promised a whole lot of money if they would just keep doing these things. You know, keep fighting each other, keep doing a bunch of dangerous stunts, and eventually down the line, you'll get paid a lot of money. So that's what kept them going, and as time went on, they realized it really wasn't going to be coming their way.
Lawyers for Donnie and Rufus are going after Ryan McPherson and the other Bumfight filmmakers in an ongoing civil action, suing them for $6 million. But Bumfights was to cause an even greater fallout. The treatment of Rufus and Donnie wasn't the only cause for concern in the Bumfights video. Over half of it was made up of high school fights, caught on handheld video cameras.
The high school fights, I had filmed a lot of those. I'd bring my camera to school, and you know, once every month, maybe sometimes more, somebody would, oh, well, John's gonna kick this kid's ass after school, and why don't you come down to film it? All right, I'll film it. I just go down there and shoot these kids fight, you know, and I don't care, you know, like I don't like violence, but like I said, I'm into realism. I just love like comparing and contrasting things and like showing just life how it really is. I don't know. There was a lot of tension in high school.
If you have youth that don't have well-developed morals or values, good family values, for example, to know that these kinds of things are wrong. They're going to basically follow along with the crowd.
I mean, if there's a fight going down, then everyone knows about it. It's like, oh, there's a fight, meet at the park, go, go, go.
And when you see it on a movie, you'll always hear the kids saying, fight, fight, fight. You always see them encouraging the fight. The kids just are, I don't know, they're really into it here. Like, it's the best thing. If a fight's happening, everyone's talking about it, and everyone's stoked.
See that.
In the high school culture that Ryan McPherson and his friends come from, a world dramatically divided by subcultures and hierarchy, violence is never far away.
It's just a who's got the biggest dick type thing in high school. You know what I mean? You got skateboarders, you got these like cliques, the skaters, the punkers, the rap kids, the gangs, the football players, the jocks, everybody just clashes. It's just such a who's popular deal, you know? And like, I was the kid that just wanted to film it.
But Bumfights was more than a simple observation piece. With its pumped-up energy and music, it struck a disturbing chord with high school youth, and its images provoked a sinister response from its young American audience.
Fucking done, bitch!
This is one reason why we wanted to have a deterrent effect, because we knew it would lead to copycat things where anybody with a video camera and a $20 bill can go up to a homeless person and pay them to do something outrageous or hurt someone else, and it is a dangerous thing, and we are seeing copycat things.
I'm not wasting the fucking tape on this shit.
Of course, kids are going to go pick up cameras, and they're going to go look for their own fights, and they're going to start fights if they have to. Kids are going to want to go out and be a part of what looks to be cool.
This footage, filmed at night on the outskirts of Las Vegas, is America's newest Bumfights-influenced nightmare.
There's a lot of talk about, you know, that perhaps these kids were inspired by bum fights or similar type videos that you can get on the internet.
Go, 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 go! You guys are fucking lame.
In the summer of 2003, in the suburbs of Las Vegas, a gang of privileged high school teenagers, allegedly inspired by Bumfights, started filming their own late-night violent exploits. They called themselves the 311 Boys.
I got 48 minutes on here. 44 minutes of camera time. Don't waste it. Well, the 311 Boys are a group of kids ranging from age about 14 to 20. And according to Las Vegas police, they're a group of kids who've kind of formed a gang. And they go around finding fun and beating people up and fighting and videotaping it. Back up! All right, get these people to back up!
Their organization is to have violence. I think that's the whole purpose of that organization, is they get together, they start drinking, they want to set up fights, they want to prove that they're tough, they want to be the toughest ones around, and yeah, that's the whole purpose of that organization.
Let's get it on!
Oh, shit!
They get together, they fight amongst themselves. If they can't get someone who will voluntarily fight, then they'll lure someone there under a ruse, surround them, and force that person into a situation where he has to fight.
Las Vegas Assistant District Attorney Christopher Laurent is lead prosecutor in the numerous trials facing the 311 Boys. He's been studying their behavior in detail.
Get the fuck in right now, motherfucker! Kill him!
It's like a pack of wolves. You know, you watch a pack of wolves when they're hunting, they just all jump in. And when that guy goes down, everybody jumps on him, stomping, kicking. And you just see the abject violence on that tape and how they have no sense for the rights of the life or anyone else. It causes you to reflect. When I first saw the video, I was terrified.
One of the kids who was videotaping all this stuff actually made a comment, hey, I'm going to sell this stuff and get rich off it. So, you know, there's kind of a link there in the idea that, you know, you can go around filming violent behavior and make money from it.
There's there's an allegation that they wanted to create their own Bumfights type video and sell that on the internet. It is apparent that they played up to the camera because they were performing.
This is the start. Number. Very rarely do you have a criminal case where you have actual video evidence, and in this case there was loads of it. I mean, basically every crime that the authorities allege was committed was on videotape, with the exception of the rock throwing incident.
The 311 boys' most notorious attack was the near-fatal stoning of 16-year-old schoolboy Tanner Hansen. It's thought that the tape of this incident has been erased or lost forever.
There's a rumor that there's a videotape of the rock throwing incident, but we haven't been able to procure that yet.
Tanner Hansen and some friends were at a party when the 311 boys turned up. Sensing they were in danger, they decided to leave.
So we're now on the road that was the main road that they came down when they were being chased right now.
One group of 311 boys chased after Tanner in a car. Another went to ambush him on the road he was using to escape.
They hopped over the wall there and came out on this roadway here and stood right here and waited for the vehicle to come down, which would have been coming the opposite direction of us now.
As Tanner and his friends sped by at 90 miles an hour, the 311 boys pelted them with 5-pound rocks.
And one of those rocks that was thrown came through the windshield. So you figure an 85, 90 mile an hour vehicle with the rock coming at it, you know, the force of impact was tremendous.
We've got another surgery coming up that will probably be in June because it is going to be quite an extensive one. And we're hoping the last one. I mean, we always hope for the last one. But, and then he can move forward. And, you know, we're given trials and we just have to make the best of it. Not that I shouldn't say that he was given this, but it's happened and we have to learn to deal with it and we have to learn to move forward.
Tanner Hansen's injuries were substantial. He has multiple plates in his cheek and has lost partial vision. He can still see, but his vision will never be what it was before. And then, of course, there's the emotional scars that you carry on an injury like that throughout your life.
The police came in to, you know, take photographs and stuff, and even the woman who was taking the pictures teared up, you know, because she couldn't believe what he was going through.
The media attention in this case has just been astronomical, and it's really been because of those videotapes.
There was even some reports that they were intending on selling them, kind of like the Bumfights or, you know, the Jackass video or things like that.
You know, they just didn't destroy his life, they destroyed their own. I mean, these kids are up for attempted murder.
Well, I think they're really dismayed at the idea that they may go to prison over all this.
All right, good morning.
Of the numerous trials in progress concerning the 311 boys, the most serious is for attempted murder, being faced by alleged gang leader Stephen Gaisley.
Oh, he's a good boy. You know, he's never been in trouble before. You know, picture yourself when you were young. You might have thrown rocks, done something stupid. This is just something stupid. No, the videotape doesn't show something stupid. The videotape shows that this is something that's organized, orchestrated, and has no regard for human life.
The verdicts in the 311 trials are still pending, but the media frenzy goes on. Bumfights and its imitators are creating an enormous appetite and a potentially lucrative market for sickening video violence.
There's this whole culture out there of kind of obnoxious and even violent behavior that is entertaining to a lot of people. And I think that what you're seeing here is that certain individuals take that cultural climate and take it to the next level.
I can definitely say there's been probably 20 or 30 tapes that have come out after ours that have all been the same deal. Bum hunts, bum this, bum sluts, bum, you know, and like, so yes, definitely, like, there are so many fight tapes out there now.
What started off as an underground film for Californian skate punks has spawned a worldwide industry. But the copycatting has led to the ultimate tragedy. Bumfights, a 50-minute video made by 4 teenagers in Las Vegas and San Diego, glorified street violence in all its forms.
Who are these kids? What combination of motivations would drive a child to make these videos and try to sell these videos? And we have the embodiment of perhaps the first thug entrepreneur.
When you put out something and then 30 million people copy it, yeah, you gotta inevitably feel like, oh, okay, well, it looks like we've started something here. And so, yeah, I guess we did move a little bit of something along, you know. May not be the right thing, but, you know, whatever, it's something, I guess.
Feel the pain. Feel the rush. Experience the unfucking believable insanity.
Bumfights was a huge financial success. Inevitably, it was followed by a host of imitators copying its deeply unpleasant blend of extreme stunts, cruel parodies, and street violence, all set to a skate punk soundtrack.
The appetite for violence in our culture is voracious. You turn any channel on the television, it's sanctioned. And then you have entrepreneurship, which of course is also rewarded. We have a world in which you can make your name and you can make a fortune by doing something different that somehow is marketed to a hungry population.
The people that we should be concerned about in this whole Bumfights issue are not the producers, because they've been around forever. The people we should be concerned about are the people that actually put out money and bought this thing. And not bought it out of curiosity, but bought it out of a love of this kind of violent entertainment.
I probably would have found Bumfights funny 20 years ago when I was a kid. I would have also known that there was something wrong about it.
Late last year, 4 Australian teenagers decided to make their own Bumfights movie.
4 youths aged 14, 15, 16 and 18 were taken into custody last night and today helped police with their investigations.
The town they lived in southern Australia, Mildura, only had one homeless person. On Sunday, the 1st of November, they took their video camera and went to see him.
Police believe the accused had watched a movie downloaded from the internet that showed homeless people being tied up and made to do things against their will.
The 4 Australian bumfight copycatters videoed their attempt at getting homeless person Arthur Burrows to star in their own movie. When he wouldn't take part, the teenagers allegedly set his makeshift shelter on fire and went home to watch the footage.
Arthur Burrows' charred remains were found early Sunday morning after local CFA members had extinguished a fire near the railway reserve. 4 teenagers aged 14, 15, 16 and 18 have all been charged with 1 count of murder. Kelly Boyce, WIN News.
With terrible inevitability, the shock horror tactics unleashed by bumfights are travelling around the world and have now played a part in a murder.
This is the type of place where people like Bumfights producers might come to prey on this population. Because of the nature of the severity of homelessness itself, this is a population that needs to be wanted.
Can't help but feel for these guys because, I mean, they're more or less like children. They can't take care of themselves in the state that they're in or know any better. I mean, they're just looking for their next drink and are just there to be taken advantage of, and these guys did it.
In some ways, it's kind of sad that it's so successful that people want to see other people hurt. They want to see other people suffer, and with that, I can't really understand at all.
I felt good and I felt bad at the same time. You know what I mean? I got a family. You know, you got to go on the news and they're sitting there ripping your son. You know, so it's just there's a lot of mixed emotions when you're in the media. You know, especially when the media just rips you every day. No one's going, well, Ryan McPherson's a great filmmaker and he does his things like.
I think they were looking for a quick way to make a lot of money, and frankly had no regard for the human life that they were interfering with.
I have 18 months sober. I have a job, and I have my life back on track. As a result of not drinking, and I look back where I was at, and I don't want to go back there.